Hello, everyone. As you guys come in, we want to welcome you guys into today's webinar. Excited to get started today here in just a few minutes. My name is Lucas Tyndale. I'll be talking to you guys about emotional intelligence. We're going to give a few more minutes for everybody to jump in. Say hello in the chat if you can. I'm trying to make sure the chat is working for everyone. Okay, let's try it again. All right, let's see. If everyone could just say hello in the chat, we want to make sure that's working. It seems like, maybe it's not. I don't know. We're not sure why. Let me see. All right, let me see here. All right, not sure. My chat says everyone. I hope you guys. Oh, there we go. Let's try that one more time. If people could try to say hello in the chat, let's see if we can see some hellos popping up there. I hope that fixed it. There we go. Hey, there it is. It's working. Hello, everyone. Hi, Wendy and Michelle and Sue and Brian and Lou and Tamara. Hello, hello. Thank you guys for testing that out for us. I'm not sure that was, you guys use technology, don't you? You know how that goes. You've used it 100 times. You know how many times I've used Zoom? 1,000,000 times, but we still have things that happen. All right, so we're going to get started. We'd like to start on time and make sure you guys get out of here on time. We hope you guys are excited about today's topic, which was on the screen there. Let's make sure you guys can see that. Let's go back. There it is. You guys are like, what are we talking about here? So we are talking today about creating an emotionally intelligent culture. Here at CultureWise, we are all about helping companies develop world-class cultures. And emotional intelligence is something that I am a huge fan of. It's something that I've done trainings on and keynotes and so many other things. And I have the pleasure of working here at CultureWise and bringing this topic to you all today. Emotional intelligence is really about how we maintain and manage our own emotions and how we empathize and understand the emotions of others. And if you think about culture and a culture in a family or a culture in a business, how much emotions can shift things, right? How many times have you been together with your family and everything was going well until someone in the family had a bit of an emotional response to something and they suddenly got angry and all of a sudden everything was going well and now all of a sudden everyone is tense and upset. And the cultural norm of, say, Thanksgiving dinner, which was always something that was pleasant and fun, all of a sudden has taken a turn for the worse. Well, what happens in business is the same thing. How many times have you worked for a leader or had a team member that was, say, a little bit emotionally moody, let's say, right? And you didn't know what you were going to get from them from one day to the next. And they come in one day and they're totally fine. And then later in the day, they're upset and bothered by everything. And it's starting to cause a rift or a conflict. And no matter how good the morale has been prior or what you've done to build a great culture, that can throw things off. So today we're going to talk about how we can take control of our own emotions as workers and as leaders and as team members and as family members and friends. Let's not just talk about life at work. I believe we're not just people who do jobs. We are people who live lives and have family and friends and things that our emotions play a role in. So I'm going to stop sharing this slide for just a second. I like to get in here. I can't see you guys, but I can see the chat. So I'd love to get this started by hearing where you guys are coming in from today. Where are you at in the world right now today? And is it home to you? So let me know where you're at and is it home to you? Because I'm away from home. I don't know if you can tell. This is not a green screen background. This is a hotel room. Hello. Okay, so we have Rochelle here from Annville, Pennsylvania, working from home in Tequesta, Florida. Wonderful. Brian, I'm in Florida as well right now. Hello from Indiana in the office. Brooke, thank you so much for being here. Working from home in Dallas, Georgia. Did I know there was a Dallas, Georgia? Well, now we do. All right, very good. Thank you, Kaylee. Sue is from Nashville, Tennessee. Sue, I love Nashville. I was in Nashville last week. I've been in Nashville like 5 times in the last few months, maybe 4 times. I don't know. I'm adding it up in my mind because I dream of Nashville. I love the live music. I love the weather. I love the people. I'm coming to Nashville. All right. I'm moving it. Coming to Nashville. I'm moving down to Nashville any day now. Me and my family are heading to Nashville. Baton Rouge, welcome from Baton Rouge, working from home. Carly's working from home. Denver, Colorado. Courtney, I love Denver as well. They say the air is thinner, or there's, it's dry there. You got to drink a lot of water there, but it feels purer to me. Is purer a word? Did I say that right? Purer. It feels purer to me. When I first stepped off the plane, the first time I was in Denver, I was like, this feels different. There's something different in the air. So I like it a lot. St. Louis, Missouri, at your new job, Lou, welcome. So congratulations on the new job. So glad you were able to make it, and that this is still a priority, that joining us for webinars here at CultureWise is a priority to you. Ottawa, Ontario, welcome. Sherry from Phoenix, Arizona. Wausau, Wisconsin. Ontario, Canada. Wayne, Pennsylvania. Greensboro, North Carolina. I believe I've been to Greensboro. I have been to Greensboro, North Carolina. Thank you so much. All right, Rochelle, pronounced your name right. Wonderful. Yes, yes. And Sue, you may see me in Nashville area near you sometime soon. So let me know one more question. Is this your first time joining us for a webinar, or are you a repeat fan? Are you back for more? Just let me know. First timer, or back again, or let me know something in the chat to let me know if you're here. Okay, I'm seeing some first timers. Tamara, glad to have you. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the family. We're glad to have you here. Neil, welcome. You are welcome. Thank you for joining us. So glad you are here today. Sue is back again. Welcome back, Sue. Glad you are here. Michelle, back for more. So glad you're here. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Welcome, Brooke, to the show. Thank you so much for being here. Ariel is a repeat she's a repeat customer, repeat visitor. We appreciate that so much. Thank you guys so much. Lou, we want to welcome you. First time. Thank you. Ann, I hope I'm saying that right. Back again. Wonderful. First time, May. Thank you for being here. I think it's my first time, but who knows after all these years, Carly says, who knows? I just take classes. She's like, I like to learn things. So I don't know if it's my first time or not, but I'm here. Well, I am Lucas Tyndale, again, here with CultureWise. I'm an implementation manager at CultureWise, and I have the distinct pleasure of working with our custom customers. We have custom and standard, which is a delivery style that we use to bring what we call a culture operating system to organizations, to really help them solidify the culture so that they don't have culture by accident or culture by chance. They have what we like to call culture by design, that it's not the people who've just been there the longest. It's not the squeaky wheels to get the oil. That's not what causes the culture to be what it is. The culture is set. It's intentional, it's on purpose, it's thoughtful, and it's set by the leaders of the organization. They have set the temperature and set the tone, like the patriarchs and matriarchs of a family who have said, this is who we are as a family. This is who we are as a people. This is how we are going to continue forward. And that's what we want to do in our organizations. We don't want to just have, well, we were like this last year, we're different this year. 10 years ago, what happened to the good old days? What happened to the good old days was no one solidified what was good about the good old days. And now those days are old and past, because no one said, let's decide what are the best parts of this thing, and let's collectively put it together, and let's put words to it and behaviors to it and action to it and intention to it, and let's drive this thing forward. And so when you don't do that, the waves of change come, and it's like erosion. The beach is always being washed away into the ocean, slowly, a little bit at a time. It's pulling the sand away. It is eroding the culture. And so many companies find themselves totally different than the founding vision, or even the change vision 10 years ago, where the company said, we're going to be this from now on, and it's long gone. So we have the pleasure of doing that. I get to travel all over the country doing it. I absolutely love meeting people. We also do it virtually for organizations. We meet with leaders and we define what's best about your culture, what's best about your best workers, what's best about your best leaders. Let's write those things down, brainstorm it out, and let's put words and actions to it that we can share with everyone in your organization from here forward, so that everyone knows who we are. It is our founding document. It is our Constitution. It is what gives us guidance and direction. So I absolutely love doing this. It's my absolute pleasure. And to be here with you guys today is very, very exciting, because as I said at the beginning, I'm talking about another topic that I'm extremely passionate about. I'm passionate about culture and the culture in an organization, but emotional intelligence is something that I really, really love. So one more thing I want you guys to do on a scale of 1 to 4. I like 1 to 4 scales. You guys are going to notice like, what, 1 to 4? Who does that? That's weird, right? 1 to 4 what it does is you can't put a number in the middle, right? If I say 1 to 5, people can always say 3. Everybody says 3, right? If it's 1 to 10, everybody says 5, right? Scale of 1 to 4, you gotta say I feel pretty good about it, or I don't feel great about it, or I'm higher or I'm lower on the scale. So my question to you to start this, and just put it in the chat, scale of 1 to 4, 1 being the lowest, 4 being the highest. How do you feel? How much do you know about emotional intelligence? 4 would be, I know a lot about emotional intelligence. You know, I've read some books, maybe podcasts, studied it. 1 or 2 is like, I don't know much about it. It's okay. And there's no wrong answer to this at all, right? It's like, I'm just curious. I'm seeing a lot of 3s and 4s. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, I see it. Gail and Lou and Tamara, I see you guys. Okay, lots of 3s and 4s. You guys feel like you have a good base knowledge. Well, that is phenomenal. And if anybody's in here who didn't comment, I see everybody's not commenting. That's okay. I appreciate, and I do appreciate all the participation possible. It's okay if you're not a 3 or 4 and you're a 2 or a 1. It's okay. It's not, there was no prerequisite class for this. So we are just glad you are here. But you may help me realize I was at a 2 after this. Who knows? Kylie's like, I thought I was a 3 or 4, but who knew? There's so much new information out there. May says 2, wonderful. Well, let's get into it. We only have an hour here, and we're going to get you guys out of here. We'll hopefully have a little time for some Q&A as well. I certainly love answering questions about this. And if you guys need more support in this area, after this, you guys can certainly let us know. Our webinars are not a big setup for sales. It's a setup for information. We believe if you give good things, you get good things. You get what you give, you reap what you sow. What goes around comes around, karma, call it whatever you want. But when you do good things, you get good things. So we want to give this what we think is a really good thing to you guys today. And I believe this is going to help you both professionally and personally. That's just my thing. One thing I want you guys to know about me is that I absolutely love people. Like, we're going to talk about self-awareness in a minute. One thing I really want you to know, I love people. I'm one of those people, they say they've never met a stranger. And sometimes I think people have never met anybody stranger than me. Sometimes I'm like, was that a thing? I don't know. But I feel like I've never met a stranger. I love people. When I'm in the store, I'm smiling and saying hello to people. And if somebody thinks I work there and they ask me, like, where's the peanut butter? I'm like, no, I don't work here, but I can help you find it. And I walk them around. I'm like, look, you want Jif or Skippy? What do you like? You know, I grew up on Jif. What about you? And I just love people. So, and when it comes to emotional intelligence, to me, it's just such an important topic, because it impacts us in our not only our business relationships, but our personal relationships, not only with our coworkers, but with our family and friends. It is a part of the fabric of our lives, how we deal with our emotional state. There was a famous line in the movie A League of Their Own, where he said, there's no crying in baseball. I believe it was Tom Hanks who once said, there's no crying in baseball. And some people believe there's no crying in business. And I'm not here to say whether there's crying or not, because we all know there is, so it does happen. But it's not about whether emotion is good or bad. We have to stop judging emotion. Emotions are data points. Emotions are informational. They are telling us something about ourselves. It's like a fever. A fever is telling you your body is fighting something. Something's going on, it's heating up, it's fighting something, and it's in action. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Your fever is a good thing because your body is doing what it's supposed to do. When you're sweating, that's a good thing. Your body is sweating to cool you down. It is your body's personal sprinkler system. Isn't that a wonderful thing? But it tells you something. And we don't get overwhelmed when we start to sweat. We're not like, oh no, something's wrong. We get a fever, we get concerned, but we don't get overwhelmed. We know our body's doing something. And then we decide, do I need to help it out with some other, something else to help, an antibiotic or something to help it fight? Emotions are the same thing. Emotions are telling you something about yourself, about how you feel about something. But what emotional intelligence does is it allows us to take captive and take control of those emotions and not let those emotions run our lives. We don't let a fever run our lives. We don't let sweating run our lives. We move on. We decide what we need to do. If I have a fever, yes, maybe I need to lay down. If I'm feeling emotional, maybe I need to take a step back. But that doesn't mean I need to quit. That doesn't mean I need to quit the team. That doesn't mean I need to quit the job. That doesn't mean I need to give up on the project. It is a data point. And we should welcome the data point of emotion. Okay, so it's a data point. Somebody put data point in the chat, just so I know you're here. Data point. Emotions are data point. Just say data point in the chat. Let me know you're here. All right, so All right, let's go forward. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. It's a data point. I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling sad. It's a data point. What do I do with that is what matters, right? All right, let's continue on with our slides. All right, this is something we say at CultureWise. Good companies have good cultures by chance. World-class companies have world-class cultures by design. Okay? Good companies have good cultures by chance. World-class companies have world-class cultures by design. You cannot design a great culture and then fill it in with people who lack emotional intelligence and allow that to run things, because suddenly the things that you put in place will no longer be there. It's erosion. Remember, the waves of emotion will erode the culture that you put in place if you're not intentional about it. So again, we help companies put a great culture in place, put behaviors to it, create rituals, which drive the culture, which is a phenomenal thing. But if we don't implore and use this skill of emotional intelligence, we can find ourselves not where we hope to be. All right, so let's talk about it. So what you heard, this slide is what you heard. If you guys signed up for this webinar, this was one of the statements we made when we put out information about it. We said emotional intelligence is not just a buzzword. It's a crucial skill set for success in personal and professional life. Emotional intelligence is not just some buzzword. It's not the flavor of the month. It's not the word of the day. You know, I always think about Sesame Street. Like if somebody says the word, you scream. It's like, emotional intelligence. It's so exciting, right? I'm thinking about it, or I'm hearing about it, or I'm reading about it, or they're talking about it on my favorite podcast, or I was in a training about it. Emotional intelligence sounds good. Any type of intelligence sounds good. There's a great book by a lady named Judith Glaser called Conversational Intelligence, which I think is just another phenomenal concept. To realize we have more than just IQ. We have more than just an intellectual quotient. For so long, the world was measuring people's competence and abilities in business and in life simply by their IQ, their intellectual quotient. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that your IQ is no longer as important as your EQ. Your emotional quotient is no longer as important as your intellectual quotient, I apologize, is now not as important as your emotional quotient. At least that's my opinion. At least I believe they are starting to see that. And the reason is I don't even know if they're still calling it the information age, because we're so deep into information. We have information everywhere. Once upon a time, if you were the smartest person in your village, or you had a specific skill set, you were great at making clothes or hunting or cooking or some skill set, some information, or even when my son, little Lucas, my little guy, he's bigger than me now, he's 19, he's bigger than me, my little guy, little Lucas, when he was little, he was really good with electronics. He was really good with technology. So in our tribe or in our family, he soon became the go-to guy for technology issues, right? Anybody else? Let me know if anybody else has somebody in your family that's your tech guy or girl. Say their name in the chat. Tell me, who's your tech guy or girl? Is it like your niece or your granddaughter or your son? What's their name, right? Michelle, it's you, Michelle. So Ariel says her brother. Sue says, that would be me. Brian says Jose. Sean Sweeney, Sean is the guy, yes, of course. Sean is great at technology, right? Your hubby Bob, Tamara, ex-husband and son. I see that. Yep, Sherry says me. Yeah, it's what that is called collective wisdom. It's called collective knowledge. So what tribes do, and it's just a natural tribal thing that people do. When you have someone in the tribe that has information or has a specific skill set, the rest of the tribe does not bother themselves or waste the storage capacity on their hard drive retaining that information. Nor do they become an expert at it, because no one tells them they're an expert. Someone tells them they're good at something else. You're so good at this. And they're like, I am. And they believe they are, and then they just run with it, right? And they become the expert at that. So if my son was good at technology, others would not become as strong. They wouldn't build that muscle because they didn't have to. They're like, little Lucas, he'll do it. He'll fix it. He'll figure it out, right? So it's called collective memory. That's what it's called, collective memory, all right? So we put it together in a tribe or a culture, right? So we're living in a cultural time in the world where information is everywhere, right? I mean, everywhere there's information. So information alone is not, anybody, when was the last time somebody cracked open their Encyclopedia Britannica, Anybody got a shelf full of Encyclopedia Britannicas? Anybody coming to your door selling those anymore? Like, what happened to those, right? Like, we have information in our pockets, on our phones, at our fingertips, on our computer. Sue cracked open her Encyclopedia Britannica. That's amazing, right? Most of us aren't doing that. Most people aren't going down to the library, looking through the card catalog to find the exact book to figure out what we want. We go on the internet. We have information everywhere. So my point is, we're no longer living in a day and age where IQ is the most important thing. EQ, or EI, as it's called, I believe, and many others believe, is now more important. How do you get along in teams? How do you get along in groups? How do you get along at work? Do you fit into the culture, or are you fighting against the culture at work? Are you helping develop the culture? What are we doing here? It's EQ over IQ. Okay, so that's what you heard. All right, what we're going to learn today, we're going to go through these things. We don't have a ton of time, so I feel like this is a lot of pieces. So I'm going to go through them fairly quickly, but this is what we promised. So I'm going to give you what we promised. I'm the one who said we were going to do it. So here we are. We're going to make it happen, right? So it says we're going to talk about the importance of self-awareness and how to cultivate it. Self-aware. How aware are you of you? We're going to talk about that here briefly. We're going to talk about practical tips for improving your self-control. Are you under control, or are you out of control, right? And when we think about being under control, think about sometimes the car starts to drift off the road and people get in the accident when they overcorrect. They're drifting, and instead of adjusting, they just needed to come back to center, but instead they pulled the wheel too hard, they overcorrected, and that's what caused the accident. That's what caused the car to go into the ditch. Sometimes when it comes to self-control, we overcorrect. Sometimes we fail to correct. Sometimes we're not aware enough to know we need to correct. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. We're going to talk about what's the difference between sympathy and empathy. Really simple, really quick. Sympathy versus empathy. Emotionally intelligent people have great empathy for others. Now, in business, just because I have great empathy for you, it does not mean you don't have to come to work anymore. It does not mean you can call off every day, because I understand your puppy is sick and I love puppies. So you can call off every day, but that other person, I don't understand. Maybe I don't understand cats. So I don't have empathy. No, empathy is empathy, and we need to still be judicious in how we make decisions, and we need to be consistent in that. Yet we need to be clear that we do understand people, that we can feel what they're going through, right? So we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to talk about tactics to boost motivation in everyday life. And then strategies for effective relationship management, what I like to call doing the dance. Relationship management is knowing how to dance with others, all right? What I'm asking for you here in the rest of our time is to do two things, which are two fundamentals for people who work with us. These may be fundamentals of yours and your organization. One of these is one of ours, but the first one is embrace change and growth. I hope that throughout this time, you guys will embrace the idea that these ideas may be new to you, or you may have heard them before, and maybe you never embraced them, or maybe now is your first chance to embrace them, and then to grow from them, okay? Embrace change and growth today. We as people like consistency. Your body wants to be the same temperature. We like to be in the similar space and place. We like our friends. We like the people we like. We like the things we like. Like whatever your favorite food is, has probably been your favorite food for a long time. In the chat, what's your favorite food? Tell me your favorite food. My guess is it probably didn't just start last Tuesday. You weren't like, I never had this. Carly wasn't like, pizza. What is this pizza thing you guys have here, right? Any carbs, right? Any carbs, Anita, I love it, right? It's like, don't eat carbs, except those are the most delicious foods, right? Wendy, a good steak. Oh, I went to a Japanese steakhouse here in Orlando. I'm in Orlando, Florida. For those of you who are just tuning in, my daughter Ashanti graduated from high school down here yesterday. So me and the family have been down here for a few days. I'm in my hotel. My family is actually, the rest of my family is actually locked in a room right now. They're like in like the witness protection, hubby/dad has to work. And so we're going to just be quiet in the other room kind of thing going on. Don't worry about it. They're okay. They're not taped up or anything. They're just in the other room. All right. I think they're okay. I don't know. We'll find out when this is over. But anyway, so yes, so we're down here and I had a wonderful steak at a place. It's called Kobe, a Japanese steakhouse. We went there before graduation. Food was amazing. Love it. Neil loves nachos. Wendy loves Mexican. Tamara loves chocolate. right? Michelle loves pizza, Lou loves pizza, Gail loves nachos, right? Wings and fries, and Wendy loves steak. Yes, so all the food. Somebody said all the food. I missed that one. Peanut butter. I like some peanut butter. I used to eat peanut butter on the spoon when I was a kid. Is that weird? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, all right. So ice cream. Love ice cream. Love ice cream. We went to a place here that had some really, really delicious ice cream the other day. It was called the Sugar. I'm going to say it wrong. I keep calling it the sugar. It's the Sugar something. It's in Orlando, Florida. Look it up. It's the Sugar Shake, the Sugar Shack, the Sugar Spot. I don't know. It was delicious. All right. I live on peanut butter on the spoon. Okay, Brian, so I'm not crazy. Peanut butter on the spoon. You cut carbs that way, right? Less bread. All right. Anyway, my point was we have to embrace change and growth. All right. So what you hear today, you can be here today, or you can hear today while you're here today. Okay. Here today is HERE. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. But while you're here, I want you to hear things that can change your life. But they're not going to change your life unless you embrace the change and grow from it. So embrace change and grow. Next, I want you guys to be relentless about improvement. I want you guys to be I want to improve. I hope you're here not because you were forced to be here. All right. If you're forced to be here, put help me in the chat. I'm just kidding. So if you're with, like, your company was like, you have to go to emotional intelligence training with CultureWise. I don't know. I hope you're here because you want to be here, because you're relentless about improvement. You know that to get better, you have to know more, you have to learn more, you have to grow more, you have to be more tenacious about it. And people that are relentless about change and growth find change and growth in their lives. It's the weirdest thing, because what you look for is what you get. What you see is what you get. You have to look for it to get it. So if you're looking for to be relentless about improvement, you're going to be improving in your life. So I want you guys to do that for me today. Sugar Factory in Orlando. Ding, 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 ding. Sue wins. Somebody send Sue a prize. Deneen is on here today. She's our customer success specialist. I always get her title wrong, but it's something like that. Like Deneen just takes care of people. All right. Deneen comes in, we do our implementation. We love you guys. And then we have other clients and we try to check back on you. But Deneen, she's the client success manager. There we go. That's what Deneen does. All right. You guys see Deneen, write her name down, look her up, find her, call us, text us, say, I want to meet Deneen. Or if you're a former client and you have some other needs, Deneen is our girl. She takes care of everybody. Okay. So yeah, so no, she's here for us. All right. She's here for us. So Sue said the Sugar Factory in Orlando. That is right. So Deneen is going to send you no, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Whatever. Deneen, if you got some extra prizes, some CultureWise swag, hook her up, whatever. But we appreciate you guys for being there. That's right. Sugar Factory. So we're going to be relentless about improvement. We're going to be relentless about improvement. All right, let's go. Let's go. All right, let's talk about the importance of self-awareness. I told you we were going to talk about self-awareness today. Self-awareness, right? Intelligence in the workplace. Yes. Tula, welcome. I'm late in this webinar. Is the emotional intelligence in the workplace? Yes, you're in the right place. We're talking about emotional intelligence. Absolutely. Emotional intelligence in the workplace. That's what we're talking about. Welcome. Glad you're here. All right, so let's talk about it. The importance of self-awareness. All right. Have you ever worked with someone who lacked self-awareness? Maybe they didn't know that they came across very rude in meetings. Or maybe they didn't know that every day they complained about everything. Yes or no in the chat. Have you ever worked with somebody who just didn't seem to be aware, right? Have you ever worked with an Eeyore? Oh, poo, everything is wrong. Just another sad day in 100-acre wood. I mean, I don't know what was going on with Pooh. I mean, with Eeyore, right? Because, I mean, Tigger was bouncing around. He seemed to be happy. Pooh was eating honey. He seemed to be cool. Piglet was all right, right? I don't know. Everybody, yes, absolutely. Sue says absolutely. Kaylee, yes. Wendy, I didn't ask for names. I just want you guys to tell me. Have you ever worked with somebody who seemed to lack self-awareness? They did, and the beautiful part about people who lack self-awareness, if there's a beautiful part, is they're not doing it on purpose. It's way worse to be very self-aware that you're coming across in a way that's detrimental to the team, that's detrimental to the culture at work, that's detrimental to the family, and yet you double down on it. And you say, this is just who I am, and I'm going to be this way forever. My parents were this way, and my grandparents were this way, and we come from a long line of troublemakers. We are the troublemaker crew, that's worse, right? So people who lack self-awareness can learn self-awareness. They can get better at self-awareness. You know how you become more self-aware? I'm gonna give you 2 ways to become better at self-awareness. Number 1 way to become better at self-awareness is to be still long enough to process how you feel. Most people are moving too fast to be self-aware. They're too busy trying to be aware of traffic to be aware of how they're driving. Everybody thinks everybody else is a bad driver. But nobody sees, somebody has to be the bad driver. Somebody should be in the car like, oh, I'm the bad driver. I'm the one cutting everybody off. Nobody says that. Everybody's like, no one knows how to drive. Everybody's crazy. But it's because everybody's looking at everybody else. That's why we lack self-awareness. We live in a day and age where we can people watch more than ever before. And I like people watching. I think it's a fun, my family, we grew up people watching. We didn't have anything else to do. We just sit and watch people in the park and watch people shop and watch. You don't need a lot of money. You can go to the mall and just watch people. It's fascinating, right? So we did a lot of people watching, but a lot of times people watching or looking out, see, we like to look out of windows instead of looking in mirrors. If you look in the mirror, you face yourself, you see yourself. Most people spend their whole life looking out the window, looking at what the neighbors have, looking at what your coworkers have, looking over the cubicle, looking in the other office, looking to see who got promoted, we're looking at everybody else. How are they treating them and not treating me? We're looking at everybody else. We're not looking at ourselves. So one way to improve your self-awareness is more time in self-reflection. You need to self-reflect to become more self-aware, okay? Another way to improve your self-awareness is through feedback. You need feedback from others. You need to ask people, how did I come across in that meeting? How did that work out for me? Tell me some things I could have done better in that situation, right? Don't just go to them and say, how do you think I did? Because everybody's gonna say, you did great. Because no one wants to cause problems. They're like, I think you were perfect. And when they go behind your back, they're gonna be like, that was scary, right? Lucas was so angry. I don't know, that's not like him, right? But to my face, they're gonna say, oh no, that was oh, I think you got your point across. Yep, I think it was good, right? So to get feedback, you have to give people the freedom and flexibility to be honest. You have to say, tell me the truth. Tell me an area of improvement. Tell me something I could have done better in that situation. Yes, I appreciate you telling me what I did right, because I think everybody needs to hear what they did right. I think that's a great thing. Let's not just always tell people what they did wrong, but let's also ask for people to share with us, how could I improve it? I'm telling you, this is personal and professional. Anybody have children out there? I dare you to ask your children how you could be a better parent. Or here's an even better one. Ask your children to act like you. Say, just put on a little show here. What do I do? You'll be shocked. You'll become so much more self-aware. They may be staring at their phone like, this is you. You're always staring at your phone. Or this is you. You're always saying you don't feel like cooking dinner. Or this is you. You're fussing at us about cleaning the house. Or I don't know what it is, but they will show you, right? Or ask your team at work. Say, nobody's in trouble. Just tell me what I'm like. Like, show me, what do I do? How do I act? That feedback is a gift, and it will make you more self-aware. It says here, leaders that can't accurately see themselves also can't see their impact on their culture, right? Leaders that can't accurately see themselves also can't see the impact on their culture. If you can't see you, you don't know that you're the thing causing the problem. Sometimes we think situations are toxic and we don't know that we're also letting out some level of toxicity. I'm not saying you're the total cause of the toxic situation, but maybe if something's broken, it can be letting off a toxic fume or chemical, not on purpose. If your furnace is breaking down because of stress, because of it's been doing the same thing a long time, it could let off a toxic odorless gas called carbon monoxide that could be deadly. Your furnace was not built to harm you. Your furnace is not trying to harm you. It is just not aware in the moment that it's letting off carbon monoxide. That's why we need carbon monoxide detectors. Those are the people that give us feedback to make sure we don't make this problem bigger. We don't impact the culture in a bigger way because we just weren't aware. So that is the importance of self-awareness. Now let's look at improving self-control. What are we going to do about our self-control, right? The one thing we can do, let me give you guys a few things we can do to improve self-control. Have you guys ever felt like this kid in the picture where anybody ever want to make this face at work, but you pull it together and you smile? Somebody sitting at work smiling right now, right? Every day, faces says every day. You're in your chair, you're rocking. You're like, whew, if one more person says one more thing, I'm gonna just lose it, right? So we know what that's like, right? I'm not alone in this, right? We all have felt this at a time or two, right? Where you felt this feeling of overwhelming frustration. The question is, what do we do to gain control, right? How do we take back control of our feelings and behavior? That's self-control. Having control over my feelings, emotions, and behaviors, my actions. That is the definition of self-control. How do I do it? Let me give you guys a couple things you guys can do. Number one, we need to slow down. We got to slow down. We're moving too fast. We're moving so fast, we don't even take inventory of how we're feeling. How can you be emotionally intelligent if you're not even paying attention to the test? You don't even notice you're being tested in life. You're getting cut off in traffic and you're mad at that. Somebody says something at work that you don't like. You're upset at that. A client or customer didn't get back to you fast enough. The supplier or vendor is saying something is delayed. You're so upset, but you're not even slowing down to figure out what it is. And the next person that says something, you blow up, or you show your frustration, or you give them the cold shoulder. You don't even respond to them because you're overwhelmed and you're not taking control. Self-control. Self-control also reminds me of the word discipline. Discipline. Discipline is having control over the way I behave. And here's the interesting thing about self-control and discipline. If you have discipline, no one has to discipline you, right? No one wants to be disciplined. We're adults, right? You don't want to go to work and have that disciplinary meeting, right? You're like, I'm an adult. I don't want to get disciplined. What am I going to the principal's office? What is happening here? This doesn't feel right, right? Like, we work together. What are you talking about? Like, yeah, okay, I messed up. What is this disciplinary thing? But here's the beauty. If you discipline yourself, no one else will discipline you. If you have self-control, others will not have to try to control you. So for everyone who wants autonomy and freedom and flexibility and the ability to take control, you feel like things are out of control, the way to get control is to take control and have self-control. Do you realize that more people would rather control others than control themselves? True or false? People, I'm not saying you, but do you think in general, people would rather control others than control themselves? True or false? Let me know in the chat. Just your opinion, just my opinion, right? Some of you guys share my opinion. Okay. If you don't, that's okay. You can say false. You can say, Lucas, you're out of line there, buddy. Right? Okay. Ariel, I appreciate that. Ariel said, true, I feel like I can do this. Yeah. Isn't that parenting? Brooke says, I do that every day. I'm gonna do what I want because I'm grown. That's what my mom always said. I'm like, Mom, why do you get to do it? She's like, I'm grown. So she didn't have to control herself, but we did, right? So think about that. It is easier. People who feel like their personal relationships are out of control, they often try to control the other person. They don't try to change. No, heaven forbid they change. They're like, you need to do this, this, and this to make me happy. It is your responsibility. It's nobody's responsibility to make you happy. The company needs to do this, this, and this to make me happy. No. Take control of yourself, right? It's self-control. When we have more self-control, we have a better culture. Imagine a culture with a bunch of people who have self-control, self-discipline. They do their job. They do it well. When they need help and support, they know where to ask. They know when to ask. We work together. What a beautiful place, right? But we often work at places where everyone's trying to control everyone else. The workers are trying to control the leaders are trying to control the workers, everyone's trying to control the customers, everyone's trying to control the suppliers and the vendors. Everyone's looking outside of themselves and no one's looking in the mirror. Again, windows or mirrors? Windows or mirrors? Which glass do you spend more time in front of? Looking out at others or looking back at yourself? Self-control comes from self-awareness. The more aware you are, the more controlled you would be. Quick question, scale of 1 to 4 in the chat. How self-controlled are you when you're getting cut off in traffic? 1 being not very controlled, 4 being very controlled. I'm very calm and cool when I get cut off in traffic. Let me know. You guys tell me, oh, I got a -1. Oh, that's an all-time low. A -1. I got some 2s, some 1s. I see you guys. Thank you guys for your honesty. Lou, Wendy, they're pretty cool, right? Rochelle is calm, cool, and under control, even when she's cut off in traffic. All right, I like that, right? We have one of the fundamentals that a lot of our organizations have is assume positive intent. Assume positive intent. So I always joke that when I get cut off in traffic, I assume that the person is on their way to have a baby. So I'm like, good luck with the baby. I understand you had to cut me off. No, don't worry. I can get out of this ditch myself. Don't worry. I should be fine. You know, like you did it. Oh, good. They have a baby, right? And then sometimes they wave that one finger at me and I'm like, oh, you're just having one baby. I thought you were having twins. Okay, one baby. Have a good day. I just let it go. I don't assume they know me. It's not like they read my license plate. We're like, that's Lucas. Let's cut him off today. Let's ruin his day, right? They don't know me. So I just truly set my mind toward positive, right? I always joke with my wife, like, I forget negative really fast and I remember positive. So someone could have done something wrong or rude to me, but if they did anything good, all I remember is the good. I'm like, oh, they're so nice. And then people will say, but remember they did that? I'm like, did they do that? I don't remember. Were they mean to me? I don't remember, right? Because I see the good in people, but that helps me be more under control. All right, so it helps with my self-control. So a couple things you guys can do to improve your self-control. Number one, slow down. Number two, I'm going to say a word that nobody likes to hear. Never say this to anybody else. I'm going to say it today because you guys can't jump through the computer or the screen and get me, okay? The next thing you need to do is calm down. The worst thing you can tell somebody who's angry is calm down, right? They're like, well, what? They go crazy. So don't tell them to calm down, but we should all calm down a little bit, right? Slow down, calm down. We all like calm. Everybody likes calm. But when someone says calm down, we take offense. How dare you tell me to calm down? You calm down. If you didn't do what you did, if you didn't do A, I wouldn't have done B. It's your fault. You calm down, right? So we get into that grade school argument, right? Calm down. We also need to breathe better, ladies and gentlemen. You want to improve your self-control? Breathe. Everybody take a deep breath right now. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Let your shoulders drop. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know how much tension we carry in our shoulders? I have broad shoulders, so I'm always look like I'm ready for a football game or something, but sometimes just gotta like loosen up a little bit, right? It's like, let your shoulders down a little bit. Like, just relax, calm down, relax. It'll help you be more controlled. All right. Another way you're going to be more controlled is, again, I said this earlier, emotionally intelligent people lead their emotions. They don't let their emotions lead them. Maybe I didn't say it exactly like that, but that's what I meant earlier. Emotionally intelligent people lead their emotions. They don't let their emotions lead them. People give you some advice that I challenge, and they say, follow your heart. Has anybody ever followed their heart and ended up in a bad situation? You can be honest in the chat if you choose to. Anybody ever follow their heart and end up in a bad situation? Job-wise, career-wise, relationship-wise? Yes or no? Anybody in the chat? Anybody want to be brave? I have. Okay, absolutely. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you. See, I got some honest people. So short, right? Thank you. I appreciate the few people who are willing to step up and say, yes, I've been there. That is a reality. It's a real thing, right? At times we follow our heart a few times. Tamara, a time or two. I've done that a time or two, right? We follow our hearts, and then we often find ourselves in a bad situation. Now, are there people who follow their heart and are in wonderful? Of course there are, right? But a lot of times our hearts are emotional. Sometimes you followed your heart and ate that extra Oreo that you said you weren't going to eat. Sometimes you followed your heart and you ate that extra piece of pizza or that extra whole pizza or whatever. We talked about food earlier, right? Because we wanted it. Emotionally, we wanted it. It made us feel good. It made us feel better. We were soothing our heart, and we were doing what our heart wanted. I challenge you guys, emotionally intelligent people who are more self-controlled lead their heart. They lead their emotions. They don't follow behind them, okay? Emotionally intelligent. I take my emotions as data points and I put them up into my conscious mind, and I make logical, reasonable, responsible decisions. You want to have a great culture at your work, at your place of employment, if you're a leader or even a team member or an individual contributor, whatever level you're at, you take your emotions, your passion for being great at work, your passion for delivering results to your customers, your passion for getting a good income and a good salary and great resources for your family. Take that emotion and make good, conscious, logical decisions that drive you toward the outcomes you say you want. A lot of people say they want things, but their emotions are so out of control, it is counteractive to what they say they want. So let's do that. Let's look at sympathy versus empathy really quick. We're going to go through this slide really fast. Sympathy versus empathy. This statement came to me while I was putting this presentation together, and I Googled it and I didn't find it. I was like, did I make this up? If I made this up, I need somebody to create a Wikipedia page and put me on it and say he was the person who made up this saying. Or if you know who said this saying, you can tell me in the chat so I can, not get in trouble for copyright infringement and plagiarism, because I do not mean to plagiarize, okay? But the thought that came to me was there's a difference between feeling sorry for someone and feeling someone's sorrow. Think about that. This is sympathy versus empathy. Sympathy is I feel sorry for you. Empathy is I feel your sorrow, right? Julie, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Check us out at CultureWise.com. I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn, Lucas Tyndall. Look me up. All right, thank you for being here, Julie. So think about this. There's a difference between feeling sorry for someone and feeling someone's sorrow. Do you true or false, yes or no, do you guys believe that's a true statement? There's a difference between feeling sorry for someone and feeling someone's sorrow. You know what it's like when there's someone, right? Yes, absolutely. Brooke, right? Gail, yes. Neil, yes, absolutely. Wendy, right? Neil, you agree. Tamara agrees, right? There's a difference between feeling sorry for someone and feeling someone's sorrow. We feel sorry for people we're more distant from, right? Right? Yes, each way makes sense. Treat them differently whether you realize it or not. That's true, Lou, right? So what emotionally intelligent people do is they know how to be truly empathetic toward others. They don't just say, well, my team is complaining because they don't like to work and everybody's lazy and this generation. Did you know every generation says the generation after them has absolutely lost their minds, right? You realize that? Like, I don't care what generation you are. Remember what your parents said to you and about you. We would have never done this. Once upon a time, a man named Elvis Presley was shaking his hips on TV and people thought the world was coming to an end. Now, if all we had was Elvis Presley shaking his hips on TV, we'd be like, leave it on. That's way better than the rest of the mess that's on TV at this point, right? So, but to that generation, to the next generation, that was crazy. People thought, radio was going to ruin the world. TV was going to ruin the world. Video games are going to ruin the world. The internet's going to ruin the world. I don't know what's next. Everybody thinks everything's going to ruin the world. But the truth is the parents are the ones who allow the children to do this stuff anyway. I don't know what the problem is, right? An says, I think having sympathy and or empathy doesn't mean you still don't hold others accountable. Excellent point. Just because I said that earlier, because I'm empathetic to the fact that I have a puppy and you have a puppy, and maybe we got our puppies from the same litter, from the same person, and your puppy is really sick. That does not mean our attendance policy is different for you. That does not mean that. I just understand it better. And when I understand it better, I can be more intentional about the cultural norms that we set around what makes sense. If we live in a day and age where we're talking about maternity and paternity leave in the United States, because it's different in other countries. There's countries where you get months and months off, the mother and the father. And in our country, it's like, you got 6 weeks, you better hurry up and get back here. Your seat is still warm, right? They're like, hurry up, right? And that's our cultural norm. The question is, if we have empathy, do we then change some of our norms? Maybe someone would say we don't. Others would argue we should, right? That we should change the culture. So when you empathize with the people in your organization, you can then make decisions about what is right and wrong for our culture here at this organization. And you can get it organized. And when you get it organized, you create a flow. All right, let's talk about boosting motivation. How do we boost motivation? First of all, we talked about eating earlier. I must be hungry. It is lunchtime. It's past lunchtime. I miss lunch. All right, so boosting motivation, one of the greatest things I would recommend to anyone who wants to boost their motivation is to change your diet. Change your diet. And I am not talking about the food you ingest. I am talking about the things you listen to, the things you watch, the people you put yourself around, the teams you're on, the things you do. A diet is just what you take in, right? Someone can be on a pack-a-day Oreo diet if they want to, right? That's a diet. Diet is not just for losing weight. Diets are just what you take in, right? Somebody's on a diet. Somebody's on a whole pizza every Friday diet. That's your diet. It's your diet. It doesn't mean it's a healthy diet. It's what you take in, right? So what is your diet like? What kind of motivating people do you put yourself around? Do you have a mentor? Do you have a friend? Do you have someone who's maybe older and wiser than you? Maybe they're younger and wiser than you. I don't know. But do you have people who motivate you? And when you need motivation, do you call those people? And before you need motivation, do you call those people? Because sometimes when we're down, we like to wallow in our sorrow and we don't even go to the person who would help us get out of it. Hey, I've been there. Have you ever been there where you're just like, I just want to feel bad about feeling bad because I feel bad. And I'm just going to wallow in my sadness today. I've done it. But I want to be motivated. So because anybody, yes or no in the chat, have you ever listened to a sad song when you were sad? Anybody ever listen to sad songs when they're sad? Like, let me just listen to, I'm just going to listen to Tears from Heaven by Eric Clapton because I'm feeling sad. I'm going to listen to another sad song while I'm feeling sad, right? Some people, that's the person said, yep. An said, no, the opposite. Well, the opposite is probably better. But a lot of people do a good old country song, a sad, I lost my love in my pickup truck in Nashville, right? Like so many people do that, right? And it makes them feel better. So they think it makes them feel better. But You got to challenge your diet. You want to be motivated, challenge your diet, and remember why you started. That picture there says, remember why you started. Why you started should be enough to get you going again. Don't forget the why. Simon Sinek wrote a great book called Start With Why. And he also did one of the most well-known TED Talks ever about the golden circles. And it was a phenomenal, look up Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-C-K, I believe, Simon Sinek, fascinating, or Simon Sinek, some people say, I don't know if I'm saying that. Anyway, he's phenomenal. Great book called Start With Why, great TED Talk, talking about remembering your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? When you know why you're doing it, your how and your what and your where and your when all come out of why you chose to do it. If you need motivation, change your diet, remember why you started. And last but not least, relationship management. These are the five main skill sets of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-control, empathy, motivation, and relationship management. That's what I gave you today, the five main skill sets. And I don't call them domains. Some books call them domains and other things. I like the idea of a skill set, because a skill is something you can develop. A skill is something you can get better at. You can get better at self-awareness. You can get better at self-control. You can get better at empathy and motivation and relationship management. When it comes to relationship management, I just want you guys to think, as you become the more emotionally intelligent amongst your peers, because you are here today, I want you to think about, how do you manage relationships in a room? And how do you manage a relationship in a Zoom? How do you manage relationships in a room? How do you manage relationships in a Zoom? We don't talk about that enough. We are now in a lot of virtual environments like this. Even me asking you guys to say stuff in the chat was a way of me managing the relationship. You responding was you responding to me in kindness just to engage me while I'm here. I thank you for that, right? How do you engage people? Do you look people in their eyes? Do you slow down and listen? Do you pause when they say something? Do you nod your head? Do you question if you disagree or need more context? When you're on a Zoom, do you stare down the whole time and look away the whole time? Or do you look at the people? Do you engage those who are sharing? When you're the person facilitating or sharing or leading the meeting, how do you engage the people on Zoom? Do you just say, glad you guys are here another day, glad you guys came? As you guys know, we do this our daily meeting, we've got to do this huddle, everybody follow the rules, let's know what we do, let's go out and have a good day here, everybody go be great, have a good day, okay. Or do you engage the people and say, good morning, I'm sure some of you have a puppy that's not feeling well. I'm sure some of you are not feeling well yourself. Why don't we take a deep breath this morning? Let's let some of that stress off. Let's loosen our shoulders up. Let's get started with today. Let's go do things in an excellent way. Let's make sure we remember our culture keys. Let's remember our fundamentals to our culture. We're going to make sure we're relentless about improvement this week. Whatever's going on, don't be afraid to find a new innovative way to solve the problem and work together to be relentless about improvement. Thank you guys so much for coming to this. How are you engaging people? Are you thoughtful about it? How are you managing those relationships? I call it the ability to dance, I said earlier, because you have to know how to dance with different dance partners. Somebody's doing the tango, somebody's doing the foxtrot, somebody's doing the waltz, right? And you got to know how to, when you're a leader, you have to know how to deal with different people, different personalities, right? But the culture and the cultural norms, like what we help set, what we call fundamentals at CultureWise, they set the stage, they set the dance floor, they set the parameters for what dances we actually do in this organization. And it's our pleasure to continue to bring this to so many great organizations. I'm going to end where I started. Good companies have good cultures by chance. World-class companies have world-class cultures by design. Here at CultureWise, we help companies design a culture operating system that makes a huge impact on their organization and on their people, on their hiring practices, on their retention, on how they rate people, on how well they perform year to year. And it is our pleasure to do more of that. If you guys want more information about that, please reach out to us at culturewise.com. You can reach out to myself. My information, contact information is here. Take a screenshot. Here we are. Hello, here we are. Take a screenshot there. You can take my picture there with it too, right? Lucas Tyndall, my phone number, my email is there. I'd love to help you. We would love to be there for you. You guys, we have about 8 minutes left. I appreciate you guys' time. Any questions before we go? I'll answer a few questions here if anyone has any. You guys were wonderful today. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Janine. Thank you. I appreciate it. Lou, thank you so much. Sue, my pleasure. You guys are so kind. Thank you guys. I love this. I love it, love it, love it. I don't know if you guys know, it's not my coffee. I didn't even have coffee today. I get excited when I see people. I love people I love making an impact in people's lives. Sherry, thank you so much. You guys were phenomenal. If there's no questions, again, I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes back in your day. It was my absolute pleasure being your facilitator today. Courtney, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Fran, Ariel, we really appreciate you guys being here. Everybody will wrap this thing up. You guys go be the emotionally intelligent amongst your teams today. Change your diet, take control, calm down, slow down, right? Take time to self-reflect. Think about what you're thinking about. Look in the mirror more than you look out of the windows, right? Think about yourself more, right? If you want to be motivated, remember why you started the thing, right? If you want to manage your relationships better, make sure you're thoughtful about how you're engaging and how you're coming across with people. And make sure you guys go out there and show people that we can have an emotionally intelligent culture and we can have a culture by design. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate you guys. Everybody, take care. Have a great day.